Real quickly before we begin, I want to thank this video's sponsor, CarMarshal.com. CarMarshal.com can save you lots of money on buying used or new vehicles, cars, trucks, school buses. If you want to save money, I'll have a link in the description down below. I know I'm going to...
Watch, reporters stake out cop, catch him breaking countless laws, driving like a maniac. The same police officer who was not charged for a high-speed crash that nearly killed an elderly couple was caught recklessly speeding once again. By Rachel Blevins, May 30, 2018. Cookeville, Tennessee, the same police officer who faced no charges after he crashed his patrol car into an elderly couple while driving nearly 30 miles per hour over the speed limit, was hired at a new department and has been caught driving recklessly once again, despite a history of dangerous driving accidents. Officer Christopher Ferguson was called out publicly after surveillance footage was released from a car crash in which he slammed his police cruiser into another car, sending the elderly couple occupying the vehicle flying out onto the street. James Cryer, 69, and his wife Rena, 78, miraculously survived the gruesome incident. Yet even though Ferguson was driving at least 26 miles per hour over the legal limit, he faced no charges. An investigation conducted by the Tennessee Highway Patrol placed the blame on both drivers, claiming that while Ferguson was exceeding the speed limit, Cryer also failed to yield to oncoming traffic. Even with an investigator claiming that if the officer had been driving the posted speed limit, the collision would have been avoided, District Attorney General Bryant Dunaway told WSMV News that he had no regrets about declining to charge the officer. Both of them did things they shouldn't have done, and both of them violated the law, Dunaway said. They violated the rules of the road. As the Free Thought Project reported in January, now, Ferguson is still on the job after his crash with Mr. and Mrs. Cryer, and because he received only a verbal reprimand from the department, there is a good chance that he continue with the same behavior. More than 5 months later, that is exactly what has happened. Inside Edition teamed up with radar expert Donald Sawicki and followed Ferguson on his drive home from work. Their investigation revealed that Ferguson has continued to speed recklessly through town, even when he is off duty and there is no emergency and no reason to justify his excessive speed. Within minutes of leaving work, Sawicki clocked Ferguson driving 72 in a 45 miles per hour zone. When he turned down a city street, he was clocked doing 80 in a 30, the report noted. But as Ferguson turned onto the highway, he put the pedal to the metal, reaching an astounding 105 miles per hour where the speed limit is 65. When Ferguson reached his home, an Inside Edition reporter attempted to confront him and said, "Sir, we saw you driving 105 miles per hour. You're a law enforcement officer. Why are you breaking traffic laws?" Ferguson refused to respond, and the Allgood Police Department where he is employed has also failed to address the issue of their officers' reckless driving, which is clearly a danger to the public. As WSMW reported earlier this year, this is not the first time Ferguson's excessive speeding has caused a driving accident. Ferguson was disciplined for his involvement in at least 5 car accidents, according to records from the Cookeville Police Department. The scenarios that damaged his patrol car included driving recklessly on black ice, changing lanes improperly, hitting a stop sign and hitting a mailbox. When Ferguson hit a semi-truck, the department recommended his resignation. He complied and went on to join the Allgood Police Department in 2015. However, it was not until the surveillance footage was released from the May 2017 accident that almost killed Mr. and Mrs. Cryer, that Ferguson received national attention. James Cryer was ejected from the vehicle in the middle of the street, and Rena Cryer stayed in the passenger seat of the car as it rolled over on the side of the road. It is a miracle that they both survived. Mrs. Cryer told WSMW that she honestly believed she was going to die, and while she is thankful to be alive, she believes Officer Ferguson should be held accountable for his actions. "I want justice done. Whatever it has to be, I think something ought to be done," she said. While the car accident left Mr. Cryer severely disabled, Ferguson has yet to face any consequences for his actions, and his dangerous and reckless behavior has only continued as was predicted. If you would like to voice your opinion on the Allgood Police Department's lenient treatment of Christopher Ferguson's criminal actions, call 931-537-6830, visit the department's Facebook page, or contribute a Google review.
Cops are allowed to break the speed limit to respond to an emergency. But what about the rest of the time? Lisa Guerrero on one officer who was involved in this scary collision who appears to have around-the-clock need for speed.
It's heart-stopping footage. A police cruiser is flying down the street. At the same moment, an SUV is pulling out of the parking lot. Disaster follows. The driver, who wasn't wearing his seatbelt, was thrown from the vehicle. He's 70-year-old James Cryer, and he's now permanently disabled. His wife, Rena, was a passenger in the car.
I thought I was going to die.
It's a struggle for the Cryers to watch the video. So, what emergency was Officer Christopher Ferguson responding to when the crash occurred? There was none. He was heading home, going 61 in a 40-mile zone, police say. You would think that after that devastating crash, Officer Ferguson would slow down. So we decided to clock his speed with the help of our own radar expert. Donald Sawicki rigged our vehicle with the same radar equipment police use. When Ferguson headed home in his white Honda, it was raining and dark. You'd think he'd be driving cautiously. I'm in the back seat. Inside Edition investigative producer Joe Enoch is driving.
Oh my God.
He is flying.
That's him, way ahead of us.
He's going 71, 72?
71, 72.
That's unbelievable.
It's 45 miles an hour here, and he's going 30 miles per hour over the speed limit. The streets are wet, and look at him, he's just racing. Watch what happens when he turns onto this city street.
He's going 80 miles an hour in a 30.
But he really puts the pedal to the metal when he turns onto the highway, where the speed limit is 65. He's going 105 miles per hour right now on the freeway.
I'm afraid to be on the same road with this guy.
So why did we go through all this effort to clock his speed? Because of this. Ferguson has quite a driving history. While working for another police department in Tennessee, he was reprimanded 5 times for causing preventable crashes. A review board recommended he be terminated or resign, so he resigned. But that didn't end his police career. He was hired by the Allgood Police Department. Then this happened. Cheryl Allen from the Tennessee NAACP has been investigating Officer Ferguson.
Why is he still able to drive a vehicle, 1, still have a job, 2, and still have his driver's license, 3? Why?
On the night we followed him home, Ferguson finally pulled into his driveway after the 90-minute commute. I had to ask, what's the hurry?
Sir? We saw you driving 105 miles per hour. You're a law enforcement officer. Why are you breaking traffic laws?
He didn't say a word.
It hurts a lot to know that someone that's supposed to serve and protect us is out here doing harm to people.
The DA says no charges were filed in the crash because he says both drivers were at fault. Ferguson for speeding and the Cryers for not yielding to the oncoming car.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I just wanted you to know that I am using this stuff under fair use, and also remember to like and subscribe this channel. Also too, keep in mind I do not make any money on YouTube. This is 5 hours work a day, you know, fighting for freedom. And you can donate with PayPal and Patreon. I just want you to think about this. If everybody gives to PayPal and Patreon, Patreon is every month. Actually, PayPal you can do every month. I have 12,000 subscribers. If everybody gives, I can quit my regular job and go full-time investigations on Charlotte County and possibly even more and beyond. So just keep that in mind. If everybody helps out, I can go full-time doing this. Thanks.